Okay, great. I can see now I've taken the mask off. All steamed up. Well, it's good to actually get the mask off, isn't it? I think we followed the rules. I think you had to because of the pandemic and for us to protect our climbing.
So when we went into lockdown, it was quite difficult not having that outlet, not being able to use my body and go and climb and kind of disconnect from the world.
When it first closed, I was gutted because it was like, that's it, nowhere to go. It's the one thing I do. I don't have many other sports or things that I do. Climbing's my thing.
So I climb 5 days a week sometimes, and going from that to not being able to climb at all is not good for anyone in any circumstance.
And especially being in Hull as well, like the restrictions on travel meant that, you know, if you want to climb outdoors in Hull, you have to travel quite a distance to do that. Obviously all the travel restrictions throughout lockdown closed that off, as well as the indoor climbing.
I was pulling my hair out when I couldn't come, because it's like, unfortunately the area we live in, you have to go quite a far way to get any outside climbing. So it's like a lot of people's, it's their only climbing, isn't it? So it means a lot to a lot of people, definitely.
And I mean, I've been climbing for 4 or 5 years now, and I'd be absolutely livid if Rockcity was to go.
I came once with Rob before the lockdown, and then we absolutely loved it. I didn't want it to come again, but it all shut. So it was sat for months, just kind of twiddle our thumbs, really waiting for it to open again. And then as soon as it did, we got straight here, and yeah, we absolutely loved it.
Coming back when the restrictions were still in place after the first lockdown, it was a real relief to be able to get back in the gym.
So it really was a lifeline, because living through a pandemic, as we all know now, is overwhelming, it's consuming, it's tiring.
It felt a really safe place to be, with the bubbles, with the masks, the social distancing, the markings on the floor. The climbing community as well, I think, is a really considerate group of people who do look out for each other, and I felt very comfortable and safe being here, and knowing that other people were taking precautions as well and being, as I say, considerate of other climbers.
Very wide open, basically just gives you that space to be able to rather socialise or go off by yourself and be on your own if that's what you need.
The advantage of Rockcity is lots of little rooms, so if you did feel anxious and you didn't want to be around a lot of people that you don't normally climb with, you could go and find a quiet corner and just find some routes. So that was a big advantage for being here, just because of how many different sort of features that there are to go and try.
So straight away I walked in, it felt safe being here, everyone was distanced, it was marked on the floor, it was very clear, there were instructions everywhere about what you should do. Like, everybody here kind of took care of each other. It was a really nice place to come and be with people, to climb together, to chat at a distance, to see people who weren't the same people who were inside your house all day, every day.
But then over the Christmas, when we had that sort of surge again, with the Omicron variant, some of us chose to wear masks just because I wanted to protect some of the people in my group and actually to be courteous to other climbers.
You know, it's a mental relief because you switch off, it's good for your body, good exercise, and I love it, like, I'm obsessed with it.
You're only really competing with yourself, so it's very individual. Year or so that I've been climbing, I've made massive improvements, so it's been really good.
At a time more than ever, it's more important to have a social aspect sport as well as a physical sport that's helping you physically and mental health wise as well. I think climbing in general ticks all in boxes.
The reason that I like climbing so much is that it is a real disconnect, because when you're doing it, you're completely absorbed in what your body's doing, where you need to be positioned on the wall, what you do next. There's no room in your head for any other thoughts. It's an active thing to do, but it's also like a very peaceful thing to do, and finding peace through a pandemic is incredibly hard.
Obsessed with tiny little movements and particular things, like, I'm going to hold this, and if I just drop my foot a little bit there, and before you know it, you're not thinking about COVID and restrictions and worries, and you haven't got room for worrying about things like that, because you're worried about sticking the next hold, aren't you?
We were fortunate that there's a little group of us that come together, that family thing going on, and we all support each other and encourage each other. We're all at different levels, but that's fine.
Rare occasion if the kids are at school, me and my partner come together. Generally we like to come as a group, we enjoy it, we get to push each other. They've pushed themselves from coming and doing a couple of threes and warming up to, Theo's competing with me. That is thanks to Rockcity, because this is where we climb the most. Being open during lockdowns made that difference, because if we hadn't have had this, I don't know where we would have been. We had our first date here at Rockcity, me and my partner, so
It was good in the sense it gave me something else to focus on during that time. I was able to put my energy into a new hobby, so that was really positive.
I mean, 2017 I think I started climbing. Just literally off the bat, I was just like, I'll go do a spot of bouldering. I literally, first day I was like, hooked. Absolutely. Literally, following weekend, go outdoors, buy a pair of shoes, done. And then that was it. Rest is history, really. Really happy to be back.
But yeah, it's only in sort of recent months that I've picked up as a proper hobby, been something that I've been able to put my heart and soul into. I think that was one of the main things about rock climbing is I've never been able to put my all into a hobby, but rock climbing is something that's been like a burning passion, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
I've climbed at Rockcity since the first week it opened. It's good that we're getting back to some normality. I would be halfway up a route still wearing my mask because I'd forget to take it off and then wonder why I couldn't breathe. Even though I was using liquid chalk, it seemed really odd. Like you'd be halfway up and you'd go for your chalk bag. And it's like 30 odd years of conditioning that you then have to stop.
What was really interesting when I started, I didn't actually know what any of the members of staff actually looked like because they were just eyes over a mask. So what was really nice, when everyone took the masks off, I got to know the actual staff members more as individuals, and I got to know who they were. And Rockcity were really professional throughout the whole COVID thing, and you did have the screens and you made sure we wore our masks and everything, so that was really good. But it was nice to see the screens come down and get to know the staff members and interact with other climbers as well. And obviously during the restrictions there wasn't a lot of that going on because you had to sort of keep your distance a little bit, so there's more of a community feel to it now that the restrictions have lifted. It's really nice
to be able to still come here in 2022 and still with my friends, because there's no one really outside of my friend circle now that don't come to Rockcity.
We communicated through WhatsApp all the way through the first lockdown, but actually communication through a text is not the same as the bit of banter that you have while you're climbing. It is that gathering around and taking it in turn to have a climb and, you know, try it this way, try it that way, and it is that sort of network of support.
I mean, my eyes, I do find it a lot more comforting, like being with people to climb with, as your mates or friends or just anyone that you bump across climbing with. As I generally found out climbing, you end up meeting someone that you get along with, and on my own it's really hard to get that psych.
I met a lot of my friends here. Met my girlfriend here actually, and that was like always it was a really good thing, you know. After work you'd just just get climbing for a few hours, forget all your, you know, just forget everything else, and it was a really big social scene really.
I was very always anxious around new people, but that's something that's now pushed to the back of my mind, because I think the community within Rockcity, staff included, like everyone is so friendly. And it's so nice. You walk into Rockcity and you just feel instantly welcomed.
I'm grateful for Rockcity because it's given me a wider social life. The community's great here.
I think that's another thing that I really love about the climbing community, is that you can just turn up at the gym or even outdoors as well, and you will meet other people and you'll see regular faces, and you often just end up climbing together when you're there in whether it's indoors or outdoors.
There's just lots of different little groups that just come together as one big community, and it's nice. I don't think you'd find that in a lot of other places, to be honest. I think it's really nice to be a part of.
Yeah, there's great people around here. You can speak to anyone, they'll help out with your climbing and give you tips and pointers, and you can do the same for other people.
And you sat there for about 10 minutes before you even start climbing, just having a chat.
I found it one of the centres I can just go there, guarantee I'll bump into anyone I know, say hi, how are you doing? And sometimes it's not even a climb, you can stand there or even have a sit down, have a chit chat, coffee shop, whatever. Just more that sort of like community sort of thing I kind of enjoy.
Like I say, really grateful to have the centre and that it's stayed open as much as it can. Like I say, met a lot of good people here. I've got a lot of good memories, and yeah, I hope it continues because it's just getting better and better, and yeah, really appreciate it.
So seeing Rockcity's obviously making their own holds and seeing them feature in the Olympics is amazing. I mean, to have holds that were designed by the people that are from Hull, in Hull, to see them on the stage in Tokyo was just absolutely amazing. It gives you some pride of the city that you come from.
I think one of the big changes as well over the past couple of years is the rise in popularity of climbing, particularly in the public conscience through things like the Olympics, which Rockcity had holds. The Rockcity logo was on holds at the Olympics, which kind of blows my mind to sort of think about a little bit.
And getting to watch the first competition climb here on BBC was fantastic, because we're sat at home watching it about a couple of days after we're in here trying it. And it was brilliant to be able to see it on TV one day and a few days later trying what obviously the British athletes are doing.
Future Olympic athletes and already existing Olympic athletes competing here is just, you know, you can't really believe it sometimes.
And even this room that we're in now, this wasn't here two years ago even. So seeing the expansion of the facilities, seeing more new faces come through since the Olympics. Lots of people coming to try out this sport, which is really, really accessible. You know, really welcoming, as I said about the climbing community, just really hospitable people.
Since I first started coming, it's definitely got a lot better. Especially at the minute, the resets just seem absolutely constant, which is brilliant.
Come top rope, come speed, do whatever you want. Come climb anything you want here. Enjoy it, comp it. Get your shoes on.